I get asked a lot on this channel about the gear that I use, the tools, the software, the kinds of things you can see behind me in this video, the speakers, those kinds of things. So I thought I'd answer those questions in a bit of a behind the scenes tour of my little downstairs studio. So this is where I shoot a lot of the live video. This is where I shoot all of the live streams. So you've probably seen certain parts of this and you may have had questions about some of the gear that I use. So in today's video, I want to do a little tour of my office space just to show you those tools that I actually use. So if this is the kind of thing that interests you, piques your interest, that kind of thing, stick with me and I'm going to show you all the different things that I use. However, if this is not your cup of tea and they're not the kind of thing you come to the channel for, then no hard feelings, just hop over and take a look at some of the other tutorials that are on the channel and normal service will be resumed very soon. However, if you are interested, then let's just take a look at some of these nerdy techie gadgets that I absolutely love. I regularly get asked about the various gear you can see on my desk behind me, so here's a brief tour of my downstairs office and the main gear that's included in it. A quick thank you first of all though to FlexiSpot for sending out an EQ4 standing desk. As someone who already owns 2 FlexiSpot standing desks, I was pretty happy when they reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to take a look at this particular model. As I was already on the lookout to get another one for this office, I wasn't going to say no. Now, as with everything else on this channel, I won't be offering any reviews of any of the items today, and apart from the FlexiSpot standing desk and the BENQ SCREENBAR, I bought and paid for everything else you can see here. The links to everything included will be in the description below, so you can check things out in more detail if anything piques your interest. Okay, so let's kick things off with what I love about standing desks. I do have 3 after all. Now if like me you spend far too long sitting at a desk working, you'll probably be accustomed to back pain, possible discomfort and fatigue. Standing at your desk instead of sitting has proven to improve your posture, reduce back pain and burn more calories. Generally, they are seen as a great, healthy alternative to simply sitting down. Now, I generally split my working day between sitting and standing at my desk and find that it makes a massive difference when recording long tutorials or editing those videos. If you've been thinking about getting one for yourself, I would certainly recommend it. Now, the FlexiSpot desk in this particular video comes in a choice of 3 different colors for the legs and a range of different desktops you can choose from. Personally, I chose to pair mine up with an existing oak IKEA worktop that I've been using. Next up, you can't really help but notice the rather conspicuous studio monitors placed either side of my screen. Now, while these are pretty much overkill for many cases, I do enjoy recording music when not recording tutorials, and these are a decent budget set of studio monitors. These are the Tannoy Reveal 802s and run for about £125 per monitor. They have 8-inch drivers and front port to help the bass project forwards rather than out of the back, which helps reduce unwanted bass buildup in corners, and they are pretty good for budget monitors. It is worth mentioning though that these do colour the sound, which can be slightly problematic for critical mixing situations, but as with most monitors, unless they are 100% flat response, you'll need to learn their characteristics and adjust your mixes accordingly. They are, however, great for video editing sessions or long listening sessions, as I find they alter the sound in a pleasing way and don't cause fatigue on said longer sessions. Now, I've paired these up with the Steinberg UR RT2 audio interface. Now, I chose this interface primarily due to the Rupert Neve transformers that are in each of the 2 inputs. Now, if you're not familiar with Rupert Neve, he's one of the brains behind some of the most iconic mixing desks in recording history, and as part of those desks, he used to hand make the transformers, and they imparted a unique audio characteristic that many mixing engineers and recording artists sought after. Once engaged, these transformers add just a little bit of additional warmth and character to the recording and work great on vocals or guitars if you want to add that type of character directly to your recordings. But as an audio interface, it works well, sounds good and wasn't crazy expensive either. Definitely worth checking out if you fancy an alternative to the typical Focusrite or Behringer audio interfaces you very commonly see in use on YouTube. Next on the list is the LG ULTRAWIDE 34WL75C-B, the 34-inch curved monitor, but damn, that was a mouthful. So this QHD monitor has a resolution of 3440 by 1440, and while it wasn't that expensive, it has decent image quality and color accuracy. It's not going to set the world on fire for the specs, but it's more of a second monitor for basic work. If you're looking for a relatively inexpensive 34-inch ultrawide monitor, you can't go too far wrong with it. My only real criticism is the stand is a little bit on the flimsy side, but nothing too problematic. While I'm still trying to get to grips with using a Mac as a daily driver for video editing, I'm still pretty much a PC boy at heart, and powering this particular setup is one of my own custom built PCs. It's powered by an Intel i7-8700K CPU, has 32 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA 1070 video card. Now while it's a couple of years old now, it's a pretty reliable PC, and as I mentioned, it's only really used as a secondary computer. It's wrapped up in one of my favourite PC cases though. That's the Phanteks Enthoo Evolve X MIDI towered tempered glass case. Again, not particularly easy to say. Not the cheapest case in the world, but a dream to build in, and it's built like an absolute tank. I liked it so much that I have a second one encasing my main i9 PC in my upstairs office. Now you may be wondering what this little white box is next to my right monitor. It's the Ubiquiti Amplify HD Wi-Fi router, which is basically just a Wi-Fi mesh point with the ability to function as a 4-port router. I've a couple of these dotted around the house to improve the speed I get from my fibre broadband, and while they are a little bit on the pricey side for what they are highly rated and have in general been pretty reliable, and the app gives you a ton of additional control over your Wi-Fi. Now when it comes to peripherals, I have the obligatory Logitech MX Master Mouse. This is version 2 and I have a couple more of these as they are absolutely awesome to use and I regularly go on offer over on Amazon. So if you are using a cheap wireless mouse, do yourself a favour and grab an MX Master Mouse. You can thank me later. Now, my keyboard of choice for the last few years has been the Microsoft Sculpt ergonomic keyboard. I love these keyboards apart from one factor that makes them look well used very quickly. That's the material that's used on the wrist rest. It discolors and kind of sags a little bit very easily and also very quickly. But apart from that, the keyboard typing experience is impeccable and very comfortable for long typing sessions. Finally, I have a Contour Shuttle V2 for video editing. This jog wheel, shuttle and shortcut device makes video editing so much quicker and easier. If you've ever used any type of jog wheel, you'll know how it makes accurate edits so much easier. While I use it primarily for video editing, they are fully customizable and can be used in other applications like Photoshop, Illustrator and many other tools. They're super customizable and can have totally different sets of shortcuts and actions applied on a per application basis. For me, it's super useful. Now this is one device that gets asked about a lot, and it's a really simple concept that I thought was a bit of a gimmick when I originally saw it. But after having it on top of my monitor for the last 2 years or so, it's actually really useful if you work at night. It's a simple light that sits atop your monitor and shines down onto your desk. It's bicolor, so you can have it set to a cool daylight or a warm night light, and will illuminate your keyboard and your desk, but without casting additional light onto the screen. I absolutely love it. Now the final item I want to cover in this video is the webcam I have on top of the monitor. It's the popular Logitech C920 HD webcam, and while it's probably one of the most popular webcams in recent years, I can't say that I'm impressed with it at all. It's only really there these days in case I need to do a quick Zoom or Skype call and I'm not at the main PC or I don't have a main camera set up. That's a look at the main hardware on my studio desk. I'll be doing a follow-up on this video where I take a look at the tools I use to record both the YouTube tutorials and also the live streams. So if you enjoyed this look behind the scenes, be sure to hit the like on this video. And while you're at it, why not click the subscribe and smash the bell icon to be kept up to date when I release new videos. As always, all the applicable links are in the description below. My name is Paul C, this is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.